Everything you need to get ahead in life, ladies and gentlemen. Life doesn't hand out success. It responds to preparation, discipline, and personal growth. Getting ahead isn't about luck, privilege, or shortcuts. It's about becoming the kind of person success is naturally attracted to. In this journey, there are timeless principles that act as your compass, habits and choices that shape your future more than any circumstance ever could. Today, I want to walk you through the core essentials. Simple, powerful truths that, when practiced consistently, will put you ahead in life not just by inches, but by miles. Let's talk about what it really takes. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job if you truly want to get ahead in life. The first and most vital principle is this: work harder on yourself than you do on your job. At first, that might sound counterintuitive. After all, isn't it your job that pays the bills? Isn't it your job that puts food on the table? Yes, it does, but here's the truth. It's who you become that determines how far you'll go. The job is important, of course, but you must realize that your job will only grow to the extent that you grow. You bring yourself to every opportunity, every problem, every relationship. So if you want your results to multiply, your income to increase, your influence to expand, you have to invest in you. Your skills, your mindset, your health, your emotional control, your habits, your wisdom. That's where the real leverage lies. You see, many people spend all their time trying to improve what they do for 8 hours a day, but spend almost no time improving themselves for the other 16. They stay busy, they stay productive, they punch in and out, but they never pause to ask, am I becoming more valuable? That's the difference maker. When you work on yourself, you start to change the way you see the world, and more importantly, the way the world sees you. You become someone who can handle more, earn more, lead more, and contribute more. You sharpen your communication. You deepen your understanding. You develop patience. You build resilience. And over time, you begin to outgrow the problems that used to intimidate you. That's when real progress happens. Not when the job gets easier, but when you get stronger. Think about it. If someone offers you $1 million opportunity, but you're only a $50,000 person in terms of mindset and skills, that opportunity won't stay with you for long. You'll lose it, waste it, or fall apart under the pressure. But if you become the $1 million person first, then opportunities like that will start to find you. Because success doesn't go to the most talented or the most connected. It goes to the one who's most prepared. The truth is, most people want to have more before they're willing to become more. They want the lifestyle, the respect, the rewards, but they skip the process of personal development, and that's a mistake. You don't attract success by chasing it, you attract it by becoming worthy of it. And how do you do that? You start small, you read, you listen to great thinkers, you keep a journal, you review your day. You surround yourself with people who challenge you, not just those who agree with you. You stop wasting your evenings on distractions and start investing those hours in building your mind, because the truth is, if you want to be successful, you don't need more hours. You need better use of the hours you already have. You see, life responds to the kind of person you are, not the title on your business card. If you grow, everything around you will start to improve. Your work, your relationships, your finances, your clarity. The seeds of your future success are planted in how you spend your quiet hours, when nobody's watching and no one is applauding. That's when character is built. That's when vision is refined. That's when you grow the roots deep enough to hold up the success you're aiming for. The deeper the roots, the taller the tree. So don't just aim to be more productive at your job. Aim to be more valuable in your life. And value doesn't come from titles or positions. It comes from who you are when the pressure's on. Remember, the marketplace pays for value. Life rewards excellence, and excellence is the result of intentional growth. So don't just wake up and go through the motions. Wake up with purpose. Ask yourself daily, how can I be better today than I was yesterday? Because that's the game changer. Not giant leaps, but small, deliberate steps taken every day, no matter how you feel. The person who commits to personal growth doesn't just get ahead in life. They stay ahead. Why? Because no matter what changes around them, economy, technology, trends, they Build an inner foundation that never goes out of style. So if you're wondering where to start, start with yourself. Not with your job, not with your boss, not with your paycheck. Start with the person in the mirror. That's the one person you have full control over. And the good news is, when you make yourself better, everything else gets better with time. You begin to speak differently. You start walking with more purpose. You think clearer, you act smarter, and you lead stronger. That's the compound effect of working harder on yourself than on your job. It's the quiet work, the unseen effort, the commitment behind closed doors that will push you further than any title or degree ever could. So invest in you, because no one can take that investment away, and the return will pay off for the rest of your life. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and their achievement. If there's one thing that separates those who dream from those who achieve, it's not luck, it's not talent, it's discipline. Discipline is the invisible force that carries you from intention to result. It's the bridge between setting the goal and actually reaching it. Without discipline, even the best goals will collect dust. You can write your dreams on vision boards, speak affirmations in the mirror, and get fired up by motivational videos. But if you don't develop the discipline to take consistent, focused action, those dreams will always remain just that, dreams. See, goals are exciting. They light a spark in us. But discipline is what keeps that fire burning when motivation fades, and motivation will fade. That's just how life works. You won't always feel like doing the right thing. You won't always wake up ready to grind. But the people who get ahead in life are not those who wait for perfect feelings. They're the ones who act regardless of how they feel. That's discipline. Doing what needs to be done even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when no one is clapping for you. Discipline is not about being harsh or rigid. It's about training yourself to follow through. It's the decision to live by design, not by default. Every time you choose discipline, you strengthen your character, and over time, those small decisions stack up. You skip one excuse, you keep one promise to yourself, you finish what you started, and slowly you build a reputation with yourself that says, I can be trusted, I follow through, I don't need someone watching over me to show up and deliver. That internal reputation is everything. Because once you believe in your own consistency, your confidence grows, not the fake kind that comes from hype, but the real kind that comes from knowing you've done the work. That's the reward of discipline. It builds quiet confidence. It builds habits that serve you even when the storms of life hit, because life will test you, delays will come, setbacks will show up, distractions will tempt you, and if you're not grounded in discipline, you'll find yourself constantly starting over, constantly chasing shiny things, constantly disappointed in your own potential. The truth is, everyone wants the reward, but few want the routine. Everyone wants the prize, but not the process. Discipline is what keeps you locked into the process when progress seems slow. It's what makes you keep running your laps when no one is in the stands, because that's when champions are made. Not under the spotlight, but in the silence, the early mornings, the late nights. The time when your friends are relaxing and you're studying, building, training, improving. Discipline isn't about punishment, it's about freedom. Most people don't realize that, but the disciplined person is actually the free person, free from regret, free from chaos, free from the pain of wasted potential, because they paid the price up front. They delayed gratification. They made the tough choices today so they could live a better life tomorrow. And that trade-off always pays off. Here's the truth. Easy choices make life hard, but hard choices make life easy. And discipline is choosing the harder path now, so you can enjoy the easier life later. Want better health? Discipline. Want stronger relationships? Discipline. Want financial freedom? Discipline. There is no area of life where this principle doesn't apply. Success is not complicated. It's just not convenient. That's why discipline matters. It keeps you doing what's necessary rather than what's comfortable. And here's the kicker. The more you practice discipline, the easier it becomes. It's like a muscle. The first few times you resist temptation, it feels like war. But over time, it becomes natural. You stop having to fight your bad habits because they begin to lose their grip. That's the power of repetition. Now, people often ask, how do I become more disciplined? The answer is simple, but not easy. Start with one thing, one daily commitment, something small enough that you know you can do it, but meaningful enough that it begins to shift your identity. Maybe it's waking up 30 minutes earlier. Maybe it's walking every day. Maybe it's reading 10 pages of a good book. Don't try to overhaul your whole life in one shot. That's how people burn out. Focus instead on becoming a person who finishes what they start. A person who keeps promises to themselves. A person who can be trusted with responsibility. And from there, stack the habits. Build on your wins. Turn your routines into rituals. Make discipline part of your identity. Not something you do, but something you are. You are someone who takes the high road, who shows up on time, who chooses consistency over comfort. So if you're serious about getting ahead in life, don't just look at your goals. Look at your daily disciplines, because that's where the magic happens. Not in the distant future, but in the quiet now. Your future is being built today, hour by hour, choice by choice. The small disciplines you practice in private are creating the life you'll live in public. And if you stick with it long enough, one day you'll look around and realize you've crossed the bridge. You didn't wish your way there, you walked it, step by step. That's the gift of discipline. It turns intentions into reality. Success is neither magical nor mysterious. It's simply the result of consistently applying basic fundamentals. We often look at successful people and wonder what their secret is. We assume they must have had some kind of breakthrough, a stroke of genius, or maybe just sheer luck that separated them from the rest. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Success is not magical, and it's certainly not mysterious. It's the predictable result of doing the right things consistently over time. That's it. No lightning bolts, no secret formulas, no fairy dust. Just simple fundamentals applied with unwavering discipline. The problem is, most people get bored with the basics. They want something new, something flashy, something exciting. But success doesn't come to the person who chases novelty. It comes to the person who masters the fundamentals. Think about it. In sports, it's not the fancy moves that win championships. It's the ability to run the drills with precision. In business, it's not the latest trends that build legacy companies. It's consistently delivering value. And in life, it's not the big moments that define us. It's how we show up day after day, especially when no one's watching. You see, the fundamentals are usually simple. Wake up early, show up on time, follow through, communicate clearly, take care of your body, treat people with respect. Save more than you spend. Read good books. Learn from your mistakes. These aren't revolutionary ideas, but they are powerful when practiced consistently. Success doesn't come from doing 100 things once. It comes from doing a few things right thousands of times. The small disciplines, the daily habits, the seemingly ordinary routines, that's where greatness lies. Most people miss it because they're looking for something dramatic. They want results now, but success doesn't happen in a moment. It's built in the margins, in the quiet, boring hours where you choose to do what matters even when you don't feel like it. Here's what's ironic. The fundamentals work, but because they're so simple, people ignore them. They're too busy looking for the next big idea, the shortcut, the magic formula. But chasing shortcuts leads to delays. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of starting over. If you want to break through, stop searching for magic and start building momentum with the basics. Master your morning routine, guard your time, speak with integrity, keep your promises, develop emotional control, track your progress. These aren't complex tasks, but they take commitment, and that's why few people actually stick with them long enough to see the result. They quit when it gets dull. They abandon the path when it stops feeling exciting. But the winners, they keep showing up. They keep doing the work. They trust the process. The truth is, success is not a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. It's how you live, how you think, how you carry yourself, and it's built brick by brick, habit by habit. It's not something you pursue once and achieve forever. It's something you earn every single day. That's why you've got to fall in love with the process, because the process is what produces the prize. And if you want long-term success, you've got to get good at doing the unexciting things over and over again. The reps, the practice, the daily effort, it all matters. The small wins compound, the small habits multiply. It may not feel like it's working at first, but consistency always beats intensity in the long run. Let me tell you something important. The people who are winning in life are not necessarily the smartest or the most gifted. They're the ones who have committed to the fundamentals. They've made excellence a habit. They don't just try, they train. They don't just dabble, they decide. And when setbacks come, and they always do, they don't panic, they go back to the basics. That's what you do when things get shaky. You don't reinvent the wheel, you tighten your fundamentals, you double down on what works, because success isn't found in the extraordinary, it's found in the ordinary, executed extraordinarily well. Think about a tree. Its strength doesn't come from what you see above ground, but from the roots beneath the surface. The deeper the roots, the stronger the tree, and in life, your fundamentals are those roots. They ground you, they nourish you, they support the weight of the success you're building, so don't underestimate them, don't skip them, embrace them. Your fundamentals are your foundation, and the stronger the foundation, the higher you can build. Whether you're pursuing a career, growing a business, developing a skill, or just trying to become a better version of yourself, return to the basics. Hone them, respect them, repeat them, because at the end of the day, success doesn't go to the person who knows the most. It goes to the person who applies what they know the most consistently. So stop waiting for a breakthrough. Start mastering the basics. Build your daily disciplines. Focus on what you can control, and don't just chase success. Become the kind of person success is drawn to. That's not magic. That's not mystery, that's just fundamentals. Done well, done often, done with intention. And if you commit to that path, there's no limit to how far you can go. You can't change the seasons, but you can change yourself. Prepare for opportunity before it arrives. Life moves in seasons, and no matter who you are, how smart you are, how wealthy or talented, you cannot change the seasons. You can't stop winter from coming, and you can't force spring to arrive early. That's just how life works. There are seasons of growth, seasons of harvest, seasons of setbacks, and seasons of stillness. But while you can't control the timing of the seasons, you can control how you respond to them. That's the great truth of personal development. You can't change everything around you, but you can always change you. You can grow, adapt, mature, and strengthen yourself for whatever season life throws your way. Most people spend so much of their time wishing the world would change, wishing circumstances were easier, wishing opportunities were more obvious, wishing life would slow down or speed up. But the people who truly get ahead, the ones who thrive regardless of external conditions, are the ones who realize early on that life is not about managing the weather, it's about managing yourself. When winter comes, it comes for everyone. The economy shifts, jobs are lost, relationships are tested, plans fall apart, and the people who suffer the most are the ones who spent the summer playing and the autumn procrastinating. But those who prepared, those who developed their skills, saved their resources, trained their mindset, and built their habits, they weather the storm, they don't break, they bend, and when spring arrives again, and it always does, they are ready. Because here's the truth, opportunity doesn't wait for you to get ready. It shows up on its own schedule, and if you're not prepared when it knocks, it will pass you by and land in the lap of someone who was ready. That's why you must prepare in advance. Don't wait until you need discipline to start practicing it. Don't wait until you need courage to begin building it. Don't wait until a door opens to start developing the character required to walk through it. You prepare before the moment, not during it. Success is not found in the spotlight, it's earned in the shadows. It's the hours you put in when no one's watching, the work you do when there's no applause, the decisions you make when they're inconvenient. That's what sets you apart when the opportunity finally comes into view. Think about the farmer. He doesn't wait for the harvest season to start planting. He doesn't wait until the weather is perfect to begin the work. He knows that the work must be done in advance, long before the rewards show up. The soil must be tilled, the seeds must be planted, The fields must be watered and weeded, and only after consistent effort, after a season of patience, does the harvest come. Life works the same way. Too many people want the rewards of the harvest without enduring the preparation of the planting. They want opportunity to show up before they've become someone worthy of it, but that's not how life works. Life does not give you what you want. It gives you what you're ready for, and readiness is not something you can fake. You either did the work or you didn't. You either built the discipline, developed the resilience, and cultivated the mindset, or you didn't. The time to prepare is now, not when the pressure is on. Let's be honest, it's easy to drift through the comfortable seasons. When life is good, when the money is flowing, when relationships are smooth, it's easy to get lazy. It's easy to relax into routine and stop pushing yourself, but that's a mistake, because the best time to prepare for winter is while the sun is still shining. That's when the real work needs to be done. That's when you double down on learning, on saving, on growing, on building, not out of fear, but out of wisdom, because you know the storm isn't if, it's when. Life has a way of testing everyone eventually. The question is not whether you'll face hardship. The question is whether you'll be ready when you do, and preparation is the one thing that separates those who panic from those who perform. The prepared mind sees options others miss. The prepared heart stays calm in the chaos. The prepared person doesn't just survive winter, they grow through it. They come out on the other side stronger, sharper, more capable, and more valuable. So how do you prepare yourself? You start by taking full responsibility for your life. You stop waiting for ideal conditions. You stop blaming the seasons. You say to yourself, I can't control the timing of opportunity, but I can control whether I'm ready when it shows up. And then you start doing the daily work. You read the books. You learn the skills. You guard your time. You strengthen your habits. You become more aware of your weaknesses and more committed to growth. You don't waste your energy trying to control what you can't. You put it into becoming someone who can handle anything. Because here's what most people don't realize: life rewards the prepared. It opens doors for the person who's already moving forward. It introduces new connections to the one who's already showing leadership. It increases the responsibilities of the person who's already proven they can be trusted. That's not fate, that's cause and effect. That's the harvest showing up for the one who kept planting. Now let's flip the perspective. What if the opportunity of a lifetime is coming your way next month and you don't even know it yet? What if the next big moment is just around the corner, but you're too distracted, too unprepared, too reactive to even recognize it? That's the danger of drifting. That's the cost of waiting. If you're not getting ready now, you may miss the very thing you've been praying for, hoping for, working for. Because opportunity rarely announces itself in a loud voice. It comes quietly. It often looks like extra work, like inconvenience, like risk. Only the prepared can recognize it. Only the prepared can seize it. And once it passes, it may not come back again. So don't live passively. Don't spend your time wishing for a better season. Use this season to become better yourself. Make preparation your lifestyle. Make personal growth your priority. Because no matter what changes in the world around you, the one constant you can always count on is your ability to grow. And when the season shifts, when the door opens, the phone rings, the chance appears, you won't need to scramble or beg or fake it. You'll simply step into it, fully ready, fully capable, fully aligned with the opportunity. That's the power of preparation. You may not be able to control when the wind changes, but you can always adjust your sails. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Your life rises to the level of your personal growth. There comes a moment in every person's life when they are faced with difficulty, real, raw, unrelenting difficulty. It's in those moments the question arises, why is this so hard? And often the knee-jerk response is to wish the problem away, to want life to be easier, the job to be lighter, the road to be smoother. But here's the truth, the transformative truth. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Don't lower the mountain, climb higher, because if you keep hoping that life will get easier, you're giving away your power. Life doesn't get easier, you get stronger. The only way your life gets better is if you get better. Your results, your relationships, your income, your influence, they all rise or fall in direct proportion to your personal growth. You want more out of life, good, now grow, become more, develop the mindset, the skills, the discipline, the character. Because success doesn't respond to hope. It responds to preparation and growth. If you keep asking life to shrink to match your current comfort level, you're going to miss everything that could have been yours if you had just chosen to expand. Life responds to the person who takes ownership, not the one who complains. Complaining doesn't change your circumstances, growing does. Blaming the world, your past, your boss, your family, your country, it may feel good in the moment, but it keeps you stuck. Because as long as something outside you is the problem, you've got no power to fix it. But the minute you say, it's me, I'm the project, I'm the one who needs to evolve, everything shifts. Now you're back in control. Now you're on the path, because here's the beautiful paradox. When you get better, life does get easier. Not because the problems disappear, but because you're stronger, wiser, sharper. What once knocked you down doesn't even rattle you anymore. What used to confuse you now seems simple. What once seemed impossible is now just another challenge you're equipped to handle. Why? Because you grew. You chose to elevate instead of escape, and that choice, over time, changes everything. Most people live reactive lives. They wait until life forces them to grow, until the job is on the line, until the relationship is falling apart, until the health scare comes, until the bills pile up. But the winners, the leaders, the people who truly make a mark, they choose growth before life demands it. They don't wait for the pain. They pursue the process. They live by one principle. If I want more, I must become more. That's the code of personal excellence. Not because they're trying to prove something to the world, but because they understand this truth. Your external world will never exceed your internal world for long. If your income exceeds your character, you'll sabotage it. If your influence outpaces your integrity, you'll lose it. If your opportunities are greater than your capacity, you'll crumble under the weight. That's why growth isn't a luxury. It's a requirement if you want to go higher and stay there. You're not just preparing for success, you're preparing to handle it, and personal growth is not a one-time decision. It's a daily commitment. It's built in the small choices, reading instead of scrolling, practicing instead of coasting, listening instead of talking, reflecting instead of reacting. It's the decision to stretch when it would be easier to stay still. It's telling yourself the truth when it would be more comfortable to believe a lie. It's learning from failure instead of making excuses. Growth doesn't feel glamorous in the moment. It feels uncomfortable, awkward, even painful. But it's the pain of progress, and if you stick with it, you'll look back one day and realize that every stretch, every struggle, every lesson was shaping you into someone who could carry the life you now have. The secret is this: your future is already out there waiting. The relationships you want, the influence you seek, the opportunities you dream about, they're all real, but they exist at a higher level of you. And the only way to reach them is to become the version of yourself who is ready for them. That version is not built overnight. It's not built on comfort. It's built on growth, on deliberate, intentional, focused growth. It's built on the days you didn't feel like showing up but did anyway, on the nights you chose discipline over distraction, on the mornings you got up earlier to train, learn, write, create, on the moments you humbled yourself enough to ask questions, to get feedback, to admit you didn't know it all. That's the road. That's the grind. That's the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And no one can walk it for you. And the best part, growth is available to everyone. It doesn't matter where you started. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you've made. It doesn't matter what your background is or what resources you currently lack. If you're willing to grow, you're already on the way. You can become smarter, stronger, more focused, more resilient. You can increase your emotional intelligence, your communication skills, your leadership presence, your financial literacy. Nothing is fixed unless you decide it is. You were not born to stay stuck. You were born to rise, but that rise requires effort. It requires intentionality. You don't drift into greatness. You decide your way there. And that decision happens every day, in every choice, in every challenge. So instead of asking for life to make it easier, stand up and say, I'll rise to meet the level of the challenge. I'll grow until I match the size of the dream. I'll become the kind of person who earns the life I desire. Because here's the truth that echoes through every success story. The dream is free, but the transformation is not. The dream costs you nothing, but the process will demand everything. And that's why growth is the only way forward. Not shortcuts, not gimmicks, not quick fixes. Growth, steady, intentional, lifelong growth. And if you commit to that, if you commit to becoming better every day, you'll wake up one day and realize that life did get better. Not because the problems disappeared, but because you got bigger than the problems. You became wiser than the noise. You became stronger than the fear. You became the kind of person who no longer wishes life were easier, because you're too busy becoming better.